This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Fan.
The legendary Bryan Adams is set to wrap up his Roll with the Punches tour at Target Center November 26th, and you could be there. You can check out our contest page to see how you can enter to win a pair of tickets. KFAN.com, keyword contest. Enter today.
That was the voice of Brett Blakemore back at FM 100.3 KFAN. He will be fielding your talkbacks, and the talkbacks are Timberwolves centric, and you don't have to be a farmer and a tractor to leave a talkback. We want a bevy of them. Somebody's going to win a Sioux Cup Manufacturing prize package at the end of the radio show. But if you indeed are out working on the farm or are a farmer by trade, please indicate that during the course of your talkback and opine on some Timberwolves related topics, which would include but are not limited to off what you witnessed last night against Oklahoma City. What's your level of concern moving forward? Mine's higher than I thought it would be when I woke up this morning, and here's why. Because these ain't the Golden State Warriors without Steph, okay? And you don't have home court advantage. Those two factors right there should, I think, and I'm not, sound the emergency alarms very early in an equation. I'm not that kind of person, and I'm not sounding emergency alarms. This is not a 4-alarm problem at this stage. However, there were some things that were done by OKC last night that play directly into what the Timberwolves generally do well, and they couldn't find a way to do them. And Chris Finch post-game said, when talking about Julius Randle, Chris said, quote, "I need to do a better job of getting Julius the ball in the second half," end quote. Okay. I mean, that's understood. 20 points in the first half, 15 of them came on three-pointers. And this didn't hit me till halftime last night because I was very impressed with Julius Randle and the way he was playing. But then I sat back and kind of thought about it. Outside of the Caitlin Clark logo three that he hit from the left side of the basket as we look at it, they were letting him shoot those threes.
Yeah.
I mean, it honestly was, we would rather you do that than do the back Holmgren, back Hartenstein, back Caruso, back SGA. We'd rather you do that than establish your tempo in physical fashion like we saw the last two series. And Julius, of course, took the cheese because he's a decent three-point shooter, and he hit 5 of them. But that was all part of a grand plan, I firmly believe. Like I said in the opening segment, Dane Moore kind of agreed with it. It's just to talk like if I were the coach of Oklahoma City, I'd be like, we know you want to shoot a lot of threes. We don't think you're as good at shooting them as you do. We don't think your bench is requisite of beating us with three-point shooting, so go ahead and do it. And guess what? If you start making them en masse, we'll change. They had no reason to change. We took the cheese. We got caught in the trap, and those are shots that have to be hit at this level. Those are shots that have to be hit at this level when somebody is letting you shoot them, and the NBA Finals are the next round.
Yeah.
So what's your level of concern of the way things developed last night? What about you?
Well, and I would actually, I'm just simply enough, I'm going to go on the other side of it as you get those talkbacks going. What excites you or gives you promise and not so much caution into game 2 and beyond? I look at it like this: off the layoff into the Golden State series, Target Center's hopping, Lexus Club is rolling, everyone's pumped up, ready to howl, foam fingers in the air by Jimmy K behind the basket. And they absolutely laid an egg in front of 18,000 of their most loyal fans in Game 1 of that Golden State series. They bounced back, they win in 5, and here we are. I do absolutely have faith in Chris Finch and his ability to adjust off of stinkers.
Yeah.
And as good as Dagnall was in mastering the game plan into game one, I have to have faith in one of the better coaches in the NBA, and Chris Finch, that he's going to figure out a game plan and a pathway to adjusting. Could it be as simple as you were talking with Dane, that actually we're not going to run away from what we attempted to do in game one? Actually, I'm just going to see if Nickeil Alexander-Walker can hit more shots. If Naz Reid...
Well, see, just with that first one, I'm not, okay? Because I've waited for Naz...
well, that was a bad... He's been bad all postseason.
Well, no, but he's key because we only play 8 guys.
No,
so
yeah.
You're right in premise because he's going to shoot those shots.
Correct.
But Nickeil Alexander-Walker has been greatly inconsistent with his three-point shot now for 3 rounds.
And so is DiVincenzo, as, you know, whether it was your last, I forget last series, your conversation with Finch, where you kind of had to sell Dante a little bit, where it's, the shots aren't falling in, but here's A, B, and C of what he's doing otherwise that is impacting the game in a positive way.
Yeah.
I should have just started with Naz. Naz had one of the worst games I've ever seen Naz play in a Timberwolves uniform.
Go ahead and look at his box scores against Oklahoma City all of his career.
So good.
That has to be a plugged-in, we know we're going to get this. And by the way, Naz was open for these 3-point shots, at least most of them.
Yes, he was.
But like Naz Reid, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jaden McDaniels, they were aiming their threes. It wasn't a fluid situation.
No, it wasn't at all.
I'm with you on that, man.
And I'm glad Dane. I'm sorry. Continue.
Oh no, we're good. But once you recognize you just got hit over the head by a metaphorical 2x4, you rest, you wake up, you practice. That's easy to put to the side. The nerves, whatever it was that led to this pear-shaped 3-point shooting, and it's not like they've missed. You know, they haven't missed 30-some-odd three-pointers in a game before. Shoot, they've done it twice in the last 2.5 weeks, and they found a way to win one of those games. It was the fact they were aiming it, which means they were thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And if that's the case, you're dead. So I'm with you, man. It's like if you think about, with these Talkbacks, free iHeartRadio app, 30 seconds, you know the drill. If there's something that you're like, I know this will turn around next game, I'd be with you on that.
Well, and that's exactly. And you know, Oklahoma City, they were efficient in their threes last night. That was kind of part of the conversation after the game. You look at it, 10,000-foot view, and it's like, wow, you know, they were 45 or 50% from deep. Well, that was from Caruso getting wide open looks. That was from Lou Dort with one from the corner late. You know, myriad daggers taking place in the court last night late for the Wolves. but Naz Reid in particular, there was one from Dante too, where he chucked that thing up from like 33 feet. It was almost just like, I gotta make this work. I gotta make something happen.
Agreed.
And similarly
it's
from Naz taking
ball.
Bad shots. Yeah.
It's when Finch says hero ball, which he said 1,000,000 times this year. That's what he means.
Exactly. So, you know, I'm looking from a talkback perspective. What is the optimism that could potentially be different? Naz Reid would be one of them. I'm looking at, and we did this last year. We did this last year in the 7-gamer with the Nuggets, and then albeit we lose the series, but against Dallas as well. We kind of played this game, PA, of what was the aura led by the refereeing crew, and how different some of these games were. I think it's easy to stare at game one, and frankly we should, and learn from it how bad it was last night, but I think there has to be some optimism that game two, SGA will not have 7 free throws in the first 4 minutes, that Rudy won't get 2 fouls in the first 90 seconds, and, you know, as Dante and Naz and these guys look back at their own games, the forcing it, the thinking about it, the aiming of the threes as you're talking about, that if you have some optimism about some of those things being differently, I'd love to hear those talkbacks as well. The series is not over,
right?
But there are some very concerning elements through one that are a little bit frustrating.
Absolutely agree, my man. And finally, on those 3-pointers with Oklahoma City, what you were talking about, it's with 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Okay. The Timberwolves were 12 of 33 from 3-point range.
Yeah.
Okay, so the jig is up on this bit. It's take the cheese. They took it. OKC, if only for a game, was right. But doesn't mean everything's going to work that way in game two, which you keep laying out, and I like that a lot. But see, here, again, this Dagnall is high end, man. Okay, it's simply because, people like me just learned how to pronounce his name within the last week. And we're not, we'll watch OKC basketball occasionally, but not paying, a ton of attention to the schematic wherewithal of the head coach.
Sure.
But if you think about to the weekly Finch interviews 9 to noon, the last 4 years, the number one coach that has been praiseworthy from Chris is Mark Dagnall and what he does in OKC. And Chris is incredibly praises him effusively for the way he changes things, and he's just a big fan of his because the guy's really good. Dagnall's done the same thing with Chris Finch, too. So, like when Nordo or yours truly says, and I put it on Twitter last night, too, into the second half, that league-wide these are considered two of the smarter coaches. That's not Nordo and I saying that. That's other people around the league talking about staffs and individuals and changes and maximizing things that otherwise, may not on the surface look to be that great, but you get the most out of it. So that 3-point bit that you just brought up, just keep this in mind, all right? Oklahoma City, with 7.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, was 4 of 10 from 3-point range. So we had shot 33, they had shot 10.
Yeah.
We finished shooting 51, they finished shooting 20-something. Oklahoma City was 6th in the NBA this year and made threes. Okay, this is part of their game.
It is.
Transition threes, up and down. Jalen Williams, pull up for three. SGA's like Jimmy Butler. He's a wonderful overall player. SGA ain't interested in shooting threes. He never has been great at it. He can hit them, but he's not going to be your volume 5 of 8 3-point shooter every single game. That's not how he plays the game. He penetrates, he plays downhill, he gets fouled, and he goes to the line. But Lou Dort and Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren, Alex Caruso, they have a bevy of players who can hit threes, and it is part of their bit to shoot three-pointers. They purposely did not last night, okay? And Finch in his press conference when he was asked about this, hey, how many threes did Oklahoma City have last night? Was it like 21?
It was 21.
There we go.
11 to 21.
There we go. 21 three-pointers for Oklahoma City last night is absolutely the fewest they've shot all year. All regular season, all playoffs. That's scheme.
Yeah.
That's plan. That's bit. Okay? Because three-pointers missed lead to runouts. They lead to long rebounds, runouts, and that's where Edwards starts dunking. That's where Randall starts dunking. That's where the bench starts to go, hey, and start getting nuts, and you get all the,
whoa,
hey, and you
Luka Garza doing laps.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah, and or a pull-up three, and now you got 3 fingers down, and somehow they're tapping the middle of their arm, whatever that bit means.
I don't even get what that means.
I don't either, and it's like happened for a year, and I have no idea what it means. But see, it's Oklahoma City purposely did not get into a transition 3-point shooting game. They only shot 21 times.
Yeah.
The fewest they've shot all year. That is by design. I guess what in game 2? Game 2 tomorrow night. All right, so we're all going to watch this thing back. Coach is going to watch it back, the all 10, the whole thing. Wow, look how clogged that paint is. Wow, Julius goes to play bully ball on Caruso or Holmgren, and now all of a sudden somebody comes over to mess with it.
Right.
Julius either forces it up or passes out for a guy who's going to miss a three. As simplistically laid out as that is, that's what happened last night. It's going to change. OKC, watch. OKC might shoot twice as many threes tomorrow night as they shot last night because they're going to have something different to their bit.
Right.
They played Sunday, man. So in the first half, when you're up 7, 8, or 9, and OKC's begging for you to run away and make it 15 to 20, because then they'll go to halftime. Their high-end head coach will put something together. They'll make a run. They'll get excited. The crowd will get behind them, and they'll be like, we don't care who we're playing or if we're down 20 or where it is. We're going to come back and beat you. We made it too easy for them by not taking that 7, 8, 9 up to 15 and putting pressure on them. And it was so frustrating because the Wolves would be up like 8, and then OKC would miss. And then we would come down. I'm like, hey, here we go. It's going to be 11. Pull up 3, brick. They go the other way, dunk. Well, now a 8 instead of an 11 is a 6. That's massive.
It is.
And then you get into the whole chicanery of the three-pointers and stuff like that, and all the three-pointers we missed, and their lack of three-point shooting. For them to only hoist 21 three-pointers, that's by design.
I'll tell you this,
that's planned, man.
I agree, and I will say, it's almost like analyzing an NFL game in terms of drive to drive. Coaches get to react. There are overcorrections, and that's kind of maybe how this series will play out. Mm-hmm. You mentioned the success and the reliance upon, at times, the three for OKC. They were, you said, 6th in made threes. They're only shooting in the playoffs like 31% from deep.
Wow.
And so there could be an aspect to this, too, where actually over the totality of Game 2, we could almost play them against themselves the way Dagnall did last night. You have a bad percentage in the postseason in the three. Shoot 40 of them tomorrow night.
That's a really good point.
Shoot 40 of them tomorrow night. We're going to be better inside.
We just bit.
Yeah, and we all eat it together, and we're tied 1-1 heading back to Minneapolis.
Right. I love that take, man. Indiana's at the Knicks tonight. There was a point last night where I'm like, if I'm Karl Anthony Towns watching this game, and Julius is hitting all these threes and looking like playoffs MVP, I got to turn the game off. Well, the other part of the deal was DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
Well, then now all of a sudden we're going to move to a bigger TV so we can watch it more vividly.
He's got Bridges and Brunson over at his house. Hey, guys, come on over and look at this.
Yeah, it's like, Bridges, Brunson, and wasn't there another one?
Anunoby.
Yeah.
The Villanova crew.
There we go. And they're watching it going, Dante, always. I mean, this is our dog, but, we played together in college, man, and, it looked like he was trying to shoot himself out of a slump last night. He was just throwing these haymakers from deep, and he went 3 of 12, and it was all
Josh Hart's like, I'm going to have 20 boards against these guys.
It wasn't Anunoby.
Oh, it was Hart, not Anunoby. My bad.
Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and Dante DiVincenzo.
They were the Villanova crew.
Yeah. Well, guess what? That commercial that they show, where all three are walking up and Dante's on another team, and it's like, what's up, dog? Sorry, man.
What's up, cuz?
Yeah, see? Well, that was Dante last night. He was sad.
It was, yeah.
And all of us were sad.
It was ugly last night.
All right, so we're going to run a bunch of talkbacks next segment, hear what you guys have to think, and we will opine on a said talkbacks with a Sukup Manufacturing prize package to be given away. Actually, that's 2 segments from now, because when we return, Mark Wilf, president and co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings, will join us at the league meetings. We are in Eagan, Minnesota. It is the NFL's spring league meetings with some rule changes or things shot down, about set to unfurl here within the next hour from the spring league meetings with all the owners of the NFL teams here. And when we return, you'll hear from Mr. Wilf. Then after that, we'll fire through those talkbacks on your We Text and Talkback More Than People Know leader, FM 100.3, KFAN. Here comes Double B with that cash.
The cash thing, the fan at BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks with the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is fun. The keyword fun, KFAN.com, keyword ball. Join the Power Trips Corey Cove down at Treasure Island for a midday baseball watch party today. Catch Minnesota and Cleveland in parlay starting just after noon. Free food and plenty of prizes. Don't miss out. Get all the details, KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Mark Wilf is president and co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings, and it's great to see you. How are you, and how's the family?
Doing well, thank you. Great to be here.
Yep, great to be at the league meeting. Second time they've been here at the Omni Vikings Lake campus, and the amenities here just continue to improve. It's such a wonderful place. Do you hear that from fellow owners?
I hear that a lot. Some incredible rooms and facilities, and I think a lot of teams are doing stadiums and facilities, and they're getting tours and seeing the great stuff we have. So it's great.
Now, these May meetings, the spring meetings 20 years ago, were quite special for your family, weren't they?
They were. That's the 20 years ago at this meeting. our ownership was approved, and it was a great day.
And with the ownership being approved, not that there was any question coming into it, but still, really, until everybody signs off on something, you can't really cut loose and burst with joy for what has been at times a topsy-turvy 20 years, but what a memorable 20 years so far, right?
It really has been, and I can tell you for my brother Ziggy, myself, our entire family, we are so grateful to Minnesota Vikings Nation, our fans, the community. It's been a great ride, some incredible memories, more hopefully to come as soon as we can get them in terms of championships, but we're proud of the community we're trying to build, being part of the community, and we're very grateful for the reception, the fan engagement, the facilities, and just really a privilege to be part of the Minnesota Vikings.
Now, Mark, for those who don't know, when the owners' meetings take place in West Palm Beach, and then you have the spring meetings here at the Omni, what are the differences between those meetings for the owners?
Well, I think the March meeting, the annual meeting, is a little broader. You have coaches, you have GMs, you have broader executives. It's a much larger meeting, and a lot of work gets teed up on the football side. A lot of the rules get discussed, and some of them that might have some further debating or insights to get into, they'll defer them to the May meeting. So there are a couple items that'll be coming up today at the spring meeting, and that's typically how we do it.
Do the meetings ever become contentious between owners?
Well, again, except for the 3 hours on game day, pretty much we're partners in an incredible business enterprise, and so it's largely collegial. Of course, there's debate about direction, or maybe on the football side or the business side, but by and large, it's collegial, and it's really an incredible business.
So, like what is on the agenda today that's compelling to you?
Well, there are going to be some football discussions coming up, and we're going to be discussing the tush push rule as it's called. And
it's weird saying that.
It really is, and we'll see.
So
where
like
that
Arthur
goes.
Blank, Bob Kraft, Stan Kroenke, the Wilfs, everybody says tush push. Nobody calls it like pushing the quarterback or the brotherly shove.
I think we come at it a little more legally correct.
Yeah, right.
Versus that terminology, but I think again everything is in the direction of health and safety and making the game great for the fans and for the players, and so that's the other competition committee the owners have, and I think that's the way it always comes out.
Mark Wilf, president and co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings from the Omni Hotel in Eagan, adjacent to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center, at the spring meetings, where a lot of things heading into the 2025 season are going to be settled today. One already has. Into the radio show, 9 to noon, the Lions withdrew their suggestion for playoff reseeding. Now, for those who may have missed it, what they were looking for, and maybe some others, basically is teams that win 14 games don't have to hit the road in round one and play teams that have fewer wins. What do you think about them pulling that back?
Well, I'm in favor of the current system we have, where the division winner gets home games, even though that hurt us last year in the end. You've got to win your division to really get your best advantage, and I think that's a system that's worked well for many years. There's obviously debate going on in terms of potentially making some changes, but we're kind of traditionalist on that front.
Did it surprise you in any way that they withdrew that?
No, I think they got the feedback in March that maybe that wasn't the direction that the ownership and the league was heading. So, but I respect everyone bringing up the ideas they want to bring up and us discussing it.
First chance I've had to chat with you about some things that have happened in the offseason to the actual football team. So let's begin here, just a couple on this, then we'll get back to the league meetings. What are you liking about the free agents that you guys have brought in?
Well, we love what Kwesi, Coach O'Connell, Rob Brzezinski, the whole team, what we put together in terms of free agency, which allowed us to go at the draft in a way where we went for best available in a real, not a dramatic need in any particular area. So, especially on the lines, I think getting help on both the O and D line really freed up Kwesi to do his thing in the draft. And so, really successful, some really proven veterans. And I know they're excited to get to work in phase 3, the final OTA stage, starts next week. So we're excited to get to the training camp soon enough.
How of course you've met, quarterback J.J. McCarthy, but now that it's been a year and change, that he's been around the facility, played the preseason game, you interacted with him in training camp last year. What are some intangibles you like about him? Just natural personality traits that you like?
He has a gravitational pull as a leader. He really does. I think the way the players support him, I think it's, of course, the talent is there. Coach O'Connell is glowing in his praises of how he's handled everything to date. And from an off-the-field perspective, we couldn't be happier. So all things are pointing in the right direction, and we're going to be supporting JJ to have him be the success we want him to be.
So the Minnesota Vikings begin the season on Monday Night Football at the Chicago Bears. Then a few weeks later, back-to-back international games. The first in Dublin, and then back to Tottenham Hotspur to play the Browns in London. The Vikings are the first team in the history of the NFL to do something like this. What are you liking about the two-step?
Well, we love the international games. We love supporting the NFL's efforts to grow the game. And I think this was an opportunity to have back-to-back games in Dublin and in London. They're going to be very exciting. I know Coach O'Connell and the football operation were supportive. So anything we can do to help support the international efforts, we're excited about. And we know we have incredible fandom all over the world, and it shows up at our games. And we're going to encourage our Viking fandom to show up at these games. And we're looking forward to some tough battles against Pittsburgh and Cleveland, but should be exciting.
When you play Pittsburgh, who do you think the quarterback will be for the Steelers? And you can't say Terry Bradshaw. You can.
Well, I've got enough going on with our club, so we
have meetings today, Paul.
We know the Steelers will figure something out.
I understand that. And speaking of enhancing and/or amplifying the game and/or the international feel, there are going to be NFL players as Olympic athletes. Does the league and/or you, Mark, view this as indeed enhancing the international appeal when it comes to the NFL, and what do you think about it?
Well, we're so supportive. I think so many of our players they are the best in the world in what they do, and now to have this stage to potentially compete for gold medals, we're very supportive of. Justin Jefferson, Brian Osimo were here yesterday kind of supporting it. So we as a club, we as a league are very supportive of it. Flag football in general is an incredible growth sport, trying to get it as a sanctioned sport here in Minnesota as well. Girls flag football, almost 3 million people playing it. So it's a dramatic popularity. It is a way for young people to engage in the game and for fans to support NFL players and top talent in the Olympics. So it's all good.
Mark has a bevy of big spot meetings coming up, so let's fly through these final two. We mentioned Omni Vikings Lakes earlier and how this is the second time the spring meetings have been here in Eagan. What's the latest with just the totality of this campus, which is bustling and it's forever changing and growing? But when it comes to all the property and Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center and the Omni and stuff like that, what's the latest on what's new?
Well, I think it's a great destination space. I mean, you have top firms like Ecolab, who is our next door neighbor. They're a major sponsor of ours. They use the facility quite a bit. We have CLA, one of the largest accounting firms in the world, setting up their headquarters and conference center here. Twin City Orthopedics, our incredible naming rights partner, they have great medical facilities here. So overall, it's a great live, work, play environment. It's continuing to grow. We're continuing to build layers on it. And I think the owners and the NFL recognize it, and corporations and locals come here for staycations. So you have all kinds of great things going on at Viking Lakes, and, of course, training camp just around the corner.
Indeed. Last one for Mark Wilf, president and co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings, from the league meetings. Now, as a successful businessman, what impresses you with how Harrison Smith goes about his business to get up to year 14 every single year wearing the same colors?
He's honestly a marvel. I think, of course, we believe he's going to be in that Hall of Fame in Canton one day. The way he goes about his business, the ultimate pro. He takes care of himself. He's a hard worker. From the day we drafted him 14 years ago, hard to believe.
Right.
One of the highlights of our football picking, if you will, is Harrison Smith, and the way he goes about it, all pro, all the time, on and off the field, and we couldn't be happier for all successes, and hopefully we're going to get over that hump on the championship this year, and he deserves a ring too.
That'd be awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Mark Wilf, president and co-owner of the Minnesota Vikings from the Omni Hotel in Eagan.
Carboni's Pizza wants to fuel your playoff party. Visit one of their 30-plus locations to enjoy delicious pizza and get ready for the playoff run. Find your nearest Carboni's today at carbonispizza.com.
All right, here come the talkbacks, and once again, thanks to Sioux Cup Manufacturing. about an hour from now, around there, we are going to announce a winner of a Sioux Cup prize package. And what goes into that prize package?
Yeah, thanks to Sioux Cup, somebody's walking away with a Carhartt cooler, Brume canteen, portable JBL speaker, coffee tumbler, hoodie, and a Sioux Cup baseball cap. All thanks to Sioux Cup Manufacturing. All thanks to you for listening and sending in those talkbacks via the free iHeartRadio app.
And let's fire away with those talkbacks, Double B, on the Timberwolves loss last night, and see what people have to say.
This is a public service announcement. Please set down what you are doing and pay close attention. We have been searching for a young man named Nikhil Alexander Walker. He cannot be found. We've searched near and far, high and low, but still cannot find Mr. Nikhil Alexander Walker. Oh, we just got in a report. He has been found. He's shooting the 3-ball. Oh, no, Rick. Oh, no. Take the ball out of this man's hands, please.
That was clever, and we appreciate you for the brilliant talkback. That played into a bench group, the preferred 3 that Coach Finch rolls out there, being Nikhil Alexander Walker, Dante DiVincenzo, and Naz Reid. And let's see, they were 15 of 51 from 3 overall. The preferred 3 they use off the bench didn't offer much thrust, so it's more than Nikhil, but we understand what you're saying. What's next?
Hey guys, Robbie, Minneapolis. A key turning point in the game, in my estimation, was Anthony Edwards' really unintelligent foul on SGA right before halftime. The guy had no rhythm. You give him 2 free shots for no reason, other than trying to shove him like he's LeBron James. Turns out the guy gets more foul calls than Luka Doncic. You can't do that. You gave him a rhythm. We got to be better next game with our discipline.
That's a good one. And, Anthony, when they came out of the gate and opened up 8-0, and Anthony hit that in-rhythm 3,
yeah,
I mean, it looked like he was sitting on a big one. Then he messed up his ankle. He left the game. And when he came back, he honestly didn't impact the game.
I wonder how hurt that thing is.
Right. Yeah, well, we asked Finch about it on Monday, and he said that Anthony's ankle is fine. And the time off, indeed, did heal a bunch of things, not only for him, but for the rest of the team. So I remember the moment you're talking about. They left the half only up 4, 2 or 4, one of the two.
4. It was 48-44, I think, at the break.
48-44, and that's a low-scoring game, man.
But that plays into what, because I was going to argue with the talkback. I mean, not argue, but just kind of think third quarter gets going, and Thunder have a similar start to the third quarter that the Wolves did to the first. They jump out to a 2-3-point lead. Wolves ultimately, over the next 3-4 minutes, actually battle back and retake a 4-point lead. But it's kind of the inability to make it a 10-point advantage, a 15-point advantage when you had those shots in the first half. It's like you had the chance to save that money, right, for these types of moments that would occur later in the game, and they didn't bank those points. They didn't bank that advantage. There were only 2 or 3 fouls that I'm thinking to myself, and we mentioned it into the game yesterday, 9 to noon. It's like I don't need, Jaden McDaniels, little handsy. I don't want to see that foul 30, 35 feet away from the basket. I agree with that talkback. Of the 2 or 3 moments where I'm just thinking, bonehead decision there, brother. That certainly was one of them as part of the loss.
And with that key 3, including Nikhil Alexander Walker, the key 3 off the bench, they go 7 of 36 shooting, 5 of 28 from 3. Got to the line twice. Naz both times, made them both. But 4 turnovers and 5 fouls. So when you play 8, the 3 who are playing the minutes in the 20s, it can't be 7 of 36, man. It can't be 5 of 28 from 3. There were 2 of 16 at one point.
But I think with the inconsistency of Nikhil Alexander Walker in these entire playoffs, this is going from a search and rescue, sadly, to a recovery.
Yeah.
Because I think that defensively there are some things that Nikhil has done really well. But from a shooting standpoint, if this team's going to win this series, I'm lacking a little faith in terms of Alexander Walker being the guy that helps lift things off the bench.
Talkback time.
Come on, Wolves. To quote the great Vince Lombardi, it's kind of like, what the hell's going on out there, you know? It's like, geez, sloppy passes, and the bench is just ice cold shooting, and watching SGA just fish for contact. I feel like I'm sitting out on the middle of Lake Mille Lacs there, But haven't lost faith. Let's pull her together here, baby.
Yeah, we're with you. We still have #faith, but there were some alarming things that transpired last night, and you could say the same thing with facets of the Lakers series or the Warriors series, but the bit is OKC ain't those teams.
Yeah.
And if they decide they want to put the pedal to the metal and play racehorse hockey, they can do that as well as anybody in the league. They hit the 6 most three-pointers of any team in the NBA. They only shot 21 last night. This is a very smart, disciplined team that plays in multiple ways where they feel like they can beat you. And that's what plays into the best record in the NBA. Good talkback so far. Let's fire some more. Go ahead, B.
I'm Trent Item, farming just north of Moorhead, Minnesota, and I am the GM in the John Deere. What we've seen from the Timberwolves in Game 1 was them taking the right shots, making the right plays. They're just not falling. We will regress to the mean. There will be an improvement in the three-point shooting. And just like my cohorts and I will not let you starve to death, not this year, not ever, and will not let us fail in Game 2.
Amen. That's beautiful. Well, it's... That's a wonderful talkback because I would agree with a fair amount of it. However, they schemed up so well last night to not let Edwards is going to beat people off the dribble, and he did it last night. But then when he gets to around the free throw line or the wing, free throw line extended, the congestion was unbelievable, man. I mean, it was all their players were in the paint, basically saying, kick it out. And again, back to the baseline premise that I'm establishing. It doesn't make it right, but it's what I saw. It's my opinion. We know you like to shoot a lot of threes. We don't think you're as good at it, specifically your bench guys, as you think you are. And if you start making them shot after shot after shot, we will adjust. And we didn't. So they didn't adjust. That's why Ant couldn't get to the basket. That's why Randall couldn't get the bully ball bit going, backing down Holmgren or Hartenstein or Caruso or Lou Dort or really anybody. We just could not get that going last night because it was taken away.
If Nas hits 2 in the early stages of tomorrow night's game, it's that adjustment that if you're making those shots, they can't afford to have all 5 in the paint. So is there a simplicity to this where you're just like, make those same shots that you missed the other night?
Yep.
And this is a completely different complexion in Game 2.
Absolutely agree. Talkback time. Yeah.
Hey, what's up, PA? Obviously, with SGA flopping all the time and the refs giving OKC all the calls, why not just play bully ball at this point? We know we're going to get called for fouls. Let's make it count. Let's make them pay. Let's put their asses to the ground. Let's beat them up. We're going to get called for the fouls anyways. Make it a hard foul. Just let's beat them up. I'm so sick of SGA flopping all over the place and everybody calling him an MVP. He's an MV flop.
I don't know, man. I mean, I didn't see the same thing that I'm probably wrong here. I was the game decider when he hit that shot going down to his knees and they called the foul on McDaniels. Okay, that's a bad call.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the line and hits it. So there's your dagger right there, by the way. The Wolves were not coming back after that. So I understand that, but I didn't think the officiating on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dramatically impacted the game last night. Like, what am I missing here?
Well, I think plays like that. I think those are egregious
correct.
And the tough thing is too is you have coaches challenges and such. Finch had to, I believe, use a challenge to reverse a situation where SGA actually pushes off, then just trips over himself, hits the hardwood, gets the foul, and then Finch had to challenge, and ultimately it is reversed in our favor. But all the same, moments like that I think are egregious and ridiculous. Where I'll come over to your side of the table, though, I do agree. Ultimately, I think both teams had the same number of fouls. The impact of those fouls in the moments, though, was SGA getting to the rim. The fouls on our side of things were touch fouls on the perimeter, and really, the free throw disparity was not enough last night where we can point at that and ultimately say that SGA's antics truly decided that affair.
But that's a majority of the talkbacks. And that's a lot of stuff on social media, too, where, I mean, I look at it like when you shoot 51 threes and you hit 28% or 29, whatever it was, that is the capital A topic. And the rest of the basketball alphabet comes off that.
Totally agree. I just, that's why I asked Dane about it, and he sees it differently. That's all good. But I think there's a mental element to where when Jaden McDaniels gets that fourth foul and he didn't even touch SGA, there's this mental component to it. We're like, are you bleeping kidding me?
Yeah.
It's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, here it goes again.
And then you see via social media, because that's where we're all ingesting content and ideas while we're watching the game. The NBA is putting up video replays of these awful non-foul calls, and they're celebrating. And one from SGA, by the way, MVP announced tomorrow night. It's like, that's not a foul.
Right.
And the league is encouraging and, frankly, incentivizing what many people are thinking is bad basketball. And, you know, I've seen it. He's an unethical hooper. I think there's a lot of frustration that boils over. The missed threes in the end with Dagnall's game plan, putting us in a spot where we failed ourselves. That is the capital A topic. But the SGA nonsense, I think, is starting to boil over. And now that it's the Western Conference, it's the only NBA game, and there's a ton of unbiased NBA fans watching this take place. I think that's why there's so much frustration, and there should be.
Excellent talkbacks. A winner of the Sioux Cup prize package will be announced about 45 minutes from now. When we return, Lavelli Neal III, he's a columnist for the Star Tribune, and he's ballyhooed. He joins 9 to noon at the NFL League meetings at the Omni Hotel in Eagan, on your home for Vikings football, Timberwolves basketball, and much more. FM 100.3 KFAN.